Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to NFR and welcome back to SAFRL. It's Monday night. I can hear myself. That's not a good thing. There we go. Mute that. Of course, tonight is a finale, the end of season 8. We're in Mexico. Of course, we do this all again on Wednesday, one more time for SAFRL Tier 2. That will be their finale. Some of those drivers are in the cockpit today, making up some extra seats, getting in some extra practice for that Wednesday. Some of the other drivers will be in the comment section, trying to get some ideas for strategy. Already a lot of drivers starting to get out there early on. Of course, just the one qualifying session, 18 minutes for everybody to get around and set the field for the race. This is Mr. M. Of course, battle for the Drivers' Championship has been decided quite comprehensively. There we can see that that title has come to an end, but still a battle there in P3 between It's Free and Mango. Not sure if all drivers are present. And then there's still a big battle in the Constructors' Championship for that P2. Still 3 teams can take P2. Mercedes, RB, Aston Martin. Some big names already missing. Tends to happen towards the end of a season. When we get going again for season 9, I assure you, things will fill up again. This is the RB. Remember, we said the RBs were still in a fight for P2 for the Constructors title, so they've still got something to play for here tonight. As well as the Mercedes, the Aston Martins. There is a Mercedes, not Schumi. Man who was away from the track for quite some time. Returned recently. And he's picked up the pace really quickly. Still making 1 or 2 mistakes here and there, but when he gets it right, we've seen him drive off into the distance. He's capable of it. Stoffel, first time of the evening, 116.1. Then we see a Wakes over the line. That's a big gap, 117.7. Skull over the line in P2. That's a little closer, 16.2. Just a tenth between the top 2. Then Andres, 18.9, goes into P4. We're watching Virus, goes into provisional pole, 15.7. So that's 4 tenths adrift from the rest of the field. Now Notsumi, about to go over the line. It's good enough for provisional pole, and it's the quickest we've seen by far this evening. It's a 14.5. Either some drivers are sandbagging and Notsumi left nothing on the table, or the rest of the field should be concerned. That is a big gap. Still some big names to set lap times. Waiting for Spikes, Pantry Star, It's Free, Andre, all quick drivers. All with the potential of taking pole here. We get on board with Pantry Star just in time for him to go over the line. P6, 16.2. Triple in the pits. Yet to set a lap time. He's actually just emerging from the pits. Is that second McLaren. We're following Spikes. This is the second of the Ferraris, the first Ferrari in P5. That is Skull. And this is Spikes. No lap time from him just yet. Through the famous stadium section here in Mexico. Once the site of the old baseball stadium. Of course, the new baseball stadium just next to the track now. It was once a baseball stadium. The original Mexico circuit, instead of going through that stadium, simply went around it, and you had a parabolica-like corner onto the main straight. Used to be a much faster circuit, more than it is now. Also a much more dangerous circuit. Get the clearest idea of what the classic Mexico circuit looked like. Imagine driving around the stadium rather than through it at a rather quick speed. And then most of the chicanes, they were never there. So a lot more flat out. It was considered one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. Of course, times have changed, and now we have ridiculous street tracks with insanely long straights. We're riding with Triple. He's the last man to set a lap time. No lap time next to his name. Goes over the line. And that is good enough for P2. He left it late. What a lap time. It's a 15.0. Natsumi still class of the field. 14.5. Means he's half a second ahead of everybody else. Andres, P11. But do take note of that tyres column. Won't speak about too much about the tyres, but the viewers can see it. Don't want to give too much away on the driver strategy, but clearly not all drivers using new tyres. Most of them using the same set for the first, second, and possibly even third run. And then obviously trim down all the fuel you can, get on a new set of rubber and leave it till the end. At the moment we've only seen one driver get into the 1 minute 14s. Surely we'll see another. This is Triple. He went up into P2 not so long ago. Now he's charged up, but he's coming back into the pits. 9 minutes remain, so half the session has already gone. This is Virus. He's currently in P8, 15.7. Does he peel off into the pits or does he go around? He goes around. Currently P8, goes up to P6. It's an improvement. Probably not as big as he would have wanted. Natsumi, current pole sitter, 14.5. He's back out on track. Already looking to defend that lap time, even though it's looking pretty safe for the time being. Remember, a lot of these drivers haven't given it their everything just yet. I think we will see a lot of times dramatically fall in the closing stages of qualifying. I just don't see how we can get to the end of qualifying and still have a car half a second clear. Not in this field. Surely things will close up. I think Natsumi just wasn't wasting any time. Wanted to get that fast lap spot on. I think the other drivers were just doing a bit of sandbagging, maybe just using the same set of tyres more than you would usually use in a qualifying session. But now we're going to see the real deal. Everybody's come in, put on a new set of soft tyres. Not Shumi, slightly out of sync with the rest of the field. He's had a big spin. He was looking to improve. The ERS was down, the battery was discharging, he was getting towards the end of the lap. Wonder if there was an improvement on the cards, but he's lost it. And that's why it's sometimes beneficial to get your best lap in first. If something goes wrong later in the session and you're planning on leaving things to the very last second and pulling off the spectacular, if something like that happens, well, you're going to start at the rear of the field and not feel that smart. Just over 6 minutes now remaining in the session. This is triple, currently in P2 on a 15-0. Matsumi still top of the field. He's come into the pits, of course, had to abandon that previous run. It's Ferrari also returning to the pits. A lot of cars out on track this very moment. Things will get busy in a little while from now. Pantry Star, one of the few cars out on track. His best lap time, a 15.7. It's good enough for P8 at the moment. And look at that for Sector 2. He's just put in a very, very impressive Sector 2 time. It's the fastest Sector 2 time of the session. So let's stay with him for this lap. He goes over the line. It's good enough for P3. It's 15.1. So where is Natsumi getting that extra time? Purple in Sector 2. Only good enough for P3. Then we go to Stoffel. Also a man out of position at the moment, down in P9. You know, he's got a lot more pace than that. Mexico can be a tricky circuit to put that perfect lap time together. .8 P9. That's the current best for Stoffel. Natsumi in the pits. Triple. Out on a lap. His battery's discharging. I think this is a quick lap attempt. Currently, it's actually gone over the line and we've missed it. It's a 14.6, so very close. 1/10 of a second. Covering that front row. What does Pantry Star have? Going around the final corner now, straight into the pits. It's Ferrari in the pits on outlaps. The two Aston Martins. Remember, Aston Martin, one of those teams, still in the race for P2 in the Constructors' Championship. Drivers' Championship has been decided. Constructors' Championship has been decided. Still a few positions in the order still available. Still some pride up for those teams. In fact, the three teams in the fight for P2 in the Constructors, they're a full house. We have two Mercedes, two Aston Martins, and two RBs. Natsumi, he's on an outlap. His best time was a 14.5. That was his initial lap time. Then he went out on a second run and things did not go as planned. This will be his third and final run. There's just 3 minutes remaining in the session. Two Aston Martins playing the team game. So one Aston Martin gives the other Aston Martin a tow down the straight in Mexico, giving him the best possible advantage. Still time in the session, so I wonder if they're gonna switch that around next time. Mr. Rem, driver who got the advantage of that boost down the straight. It's a risky thing to do. I've had teammates ask me to do that, and I've refused on multiple occasions. I'm too worried that as the lead car, I make a mistake and take him with me. Natsumi still the fastest man with that first lap time of his. Mr. Rem improves 14.9. I'm sure that tow down the straight would have helped. This is his teammate, Andre, P6. The two Aston Martins placed well so far. Still a Mercedes out front. Triple on an outlap. That's the man currently in P2, Mr. M. There is Mr. M. His best lap time 14.9. Three drivers in the 14s. Nothing in it between the top two. Natsumi wasn't able to better that lap on the previous run. He's got another go at it. It's going slowly, obviously, just giving space, preparing for his own quick lap. And he'll hope that these cars he's letting by right now don't impede him down the road, that they're able to return the favour. Natsumi gets on with it for one final time. 30 seconds remaining. Anybody who gets over the line before the checkered flag falls is going to be able to finish their lap. If you came out of the pits a little too late, well, that's going to be the end of your session. Natsumi, quickest man, 14.5. It's out on a quick lap. Triple, P2, 14.6. He's gone purple in Sector 1. Just doesn't have a lot of battery. We'll keep our eyes on that car. Mr. M going slowly. Pantry Star. It's free. 14.5. So front row as it stands. Natsumi comes out of P1 probably for the first time in this quali session. Seems like he's been there forever. But he is out on track. And really all he needs to find is 5/100ths of a second. And he can retake pole position. And as I say, that triple somehow slots in between them. Natsumi does improve. 14.4. And well, what a difference. Might not be the biggest field, but it's a pretty close one. This is Mr. M going over the line currently in P5. Does he have any sort of an improvement? Checkered flag for him. Then Pantry Star, P6. Current best of 15.0. And I guess we'll never know. Pantry Star, I think he stayed P6. So now we'll just wait for those official results. Natsumi, 14.4, right at the end there. Then a 14.5 for its free in P2 and a 14.5 for triple in P3. 8/100ths of a second cover the top three. Then we got Virus in P4, Mr. M P5, Pantry Star P6. They're followed by Spikes, Andre, Skull, and Andres, making up the top 10. In P11 we've got Stoffel and Awakes, making up the field. Now that the fun and games of qualifying is over, it's time for the real deal. It's where you get the points. It's going to be for the final time in Season 8. Still a few positions in the championship up for grabs. P1 in both the championships has already been taken. Now look at the empty pit lane as all the cars are on the main straight, making their final decisions before the race, what tyre to start on, what strategy to commit to. But we're not going to have to wait much longer. Dual green lights means they're off for a formation lap. One final time, one final opportunity to have a look at the circuit. First real time these drivers will be going around with a full tank. For the past 20 minutes they would have been experiencing the car at its very best. Soft tires, light car. In the beginning of the race, the car is going to feel somewhat different. Also depending on what tire you decide to start on. Nobody going for the soft compound. That suggests it's not going to go too far into the race, so nobody very interested in using it. Looks like the most popular decision is the medium compound. Interestingly enough, we do have SAFRL and P2 on a set of hards. And then the two cars at the rear of the field, Stoffel P11 and Awakes P12, also going for that hard compound. Of course, if we get anything near the sort of times we got in qualifying, in terms of how close the field is, could be a very interesting race. Hopefully not a race full of stoppages. Everyone can give each other enough space. Of course, if you see any disqualifications here on the straight, that just means they didn't get their parking right. So don't be alarmed, that driver has not left. That driver has not been disqualified. Been disqualified from the formation lap. There are the red lights. We're going to get 5 of them. And then we're going to be away. It's Mercedes from McLaren, from RB. And then the second RB has got up into P4. So Notsumi, is he able to defend the position into turn 1? Yes, he is. He'll hold on to it for now, or does he? The McLaren comes back side by side. And Triple not letting go of this one. Sometimes you'll see that car just duck back in. Say it's early stages. But these cars have practically been side by side for the entirety of the first lap. And now finally, it looks like the McLaren has just dipped in behind the Mercedes. It's not Shimmy from Triple, awfully close between those two, just a tenth of a second. Then it's Ferrari in P3. Mr. Rem P4. Virus has gone down a position, down to P5. Then Spikes, the first of the two Ferraris. Got Pantry Star in P7, Andre P8, Skull P9. Then Stoffel. That is Stoffel. And he's just taken a tap there on the front wheel. Loses momentum and now goes to the rear of the field as a result. Natsumi obviously a purple lap. That's as a result of him being in front at the end of the first lap. Quickest, fastest lap will look very different by the time we get to the end of the race. Of course, I'm not certain we will see the soft tyre in this race unless we do have some sort of stoppage. And really that would only work if that stoppage came towards the end. Natsumi leads the way, 6/10 of a second. Then it's Faree, another 6/10 of a second down the road, but he's under a lot of pressure. Mr. Rem in the first of the Aston Martins. He wants to get himself up onto that podium. Virus in the second RB. I want to say he's dropped back slightly, but he hasn't. It's 6/10 of a second. It's just some of these guys are driving within a tenth of each other. So when you look at a gap of 7/10 of a second in comparison, it looks pretty big. Fastest lap, fastest lap. First it was Natsumi and then Triple immediately afterwards. So Triple is the quicker of the two. That may be a result of him getting DRS around the circuit. He's going to take the lead. Natsumi thought about taking it right back. Thought better of it. Of course, it's important to be aggressive in the opening stages of the race. Otherwise, you might find yourself falling like a pebble towards the rear. But you still need to find the balance between being aggressive and keeping your head on your shoulders. A long way to go in the race. Anything silly at this stage, any wing damage, any missing carbon fiber at all, it's going to make your race, which was once promising, a much tougher challenge. In the stadium section, Triple, Natsumi, it's Faree. Mr. Rem, Spikes, then it's Virus, Pantry Star, Andre, Skull, Andres, Awakes, Stoffel. As you can see, no real major gaps in the field. Biggest gap we have in the field is 2.7 seconds, and that's between P9 and 10. Pretty much everybody else within DRS of each other. Triple in the lead, but under all sorts of pressure. Natsumi wants to retake the lead, and Natsumi coming under pressure himself from its Faree, so he wants to get on with it. If the McLaren is holding him up in any way. I said a few moments ago it's a long race, but when it's a scenario like this, then you have to switch on to aggressive. If you're quicker than that McLaren, you need to get past the McLaren and open up some sort of a gap, because its Faree does seem to have the pace in the early stages of the race, and importantly, he's on a set of hards. So he should be slower compared to the cars around him in terms of tyre performance at this stage in the race, but he's able to hold on to them at this stage of the race, which means when those mediums do fall off, it's going to be advantage its Faree. So this is the time you want to be dropping him off, and if he's staying with you, then the race is going his way. Natsumi back into the lead of the race. I said he needed to get past the McLaren. Now he has got past the McLaren. Let's see if he can shake the McLaren off, or if the McLaren's simply going to come back at him. Of course, this helps its Faree all the while. Remember, he's on the hard tyre. He's going to have that slight disadvantage on the grip, on the traction. So if the leaders fight, just keep him within DRS the whole time until their tyres fall off, and it's advantage RB. Interestingly enough, the other RB did not go for the same strategy. The two cars running alternate strategies. Sometimes we see both drivers doing the same thing. Common drivers clearly in communication, probably before the race, already deciding what to do. But on this occasion, going for a split strategy, and I think it's Faree has got it just right. Of course, not an easy way to go when the entire field around you is starting on the superior tyre. You choose to start on the harder compound. Got to have a lot of confidence in your pace. And the fact that he's able to match the medium runners, I have to ask in the comment section, does anybody know what is the supposed lap time difference between these tires? Because it seems like to me for now that hard tire has been able to stay with the medium tire throughout. Medium tire should still be quite some way away from falling off. Still a lot of time in this race. It's only lap 6 of 36. We're riding with SAFRL in P3. CP1 and 2 just ahead of him. His field has not spread out in a big way. Mr. Rem 1.5 seconds down on the top 3. And then he's got a queue of cars behind him. Spikes, Pantry Star, Virus, Andre, and then Skull. Look at the difference there between the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. Thought we were going to get a pass, but no pass for now. Skull remains behind the Aston Martin. Those two teammates in another league. In this league, on two very different teams. This is Andres P10, followed by Awakes. Then Stoffel in a bit of a race of his own. He's got a lot of free air. Can just concentrate on catching up. Luckily for him, he's not too far behind. It's not a race-breaking gap, not for now. Now Triple. He's starting to get away at the front. It's the first driver really to get into the lead and break DRS. I wonder if there was some sort of a mistake, or if he has just pulled up the road miraculously. Don't think it was a mistake from Notsumi, because SAFRL is still behind Notsumi. I think those cars were really close together. If it was just a mistake, SAFRL would have gone by as well, but now he has gone by. So SAFRL up into P2. Notsumi led the race in those opening laps. Does he have any damage? Let's get a look at the other side of the front wing. Does not appear to be the case. Looks like he's got his end plates just losing all momentum, and he has got a penalty as well. It's a 3-second penalty. So I wonder if he left the race circuit, had to give the position to Triple, and then lost a bunch of momentum. Of course, this is all speculation. We didn't see what happened. But now he's gone down into P3, and he doesn't seem to have the pace to stay with the top 2 all of a sudden. It's SAFRL. Looked like Triple was getting away at the front. But since SAFRL has been able to clear the Mercedes, he's caught up awfully quickly, just 0.3 of a second between the two cars. This is the view from the rear wing of the McLaren. Car behind him is going to have DRS. You're going to see the effects of it shortly. Look how quickly he gets closer, starts going side by side, but thinks better of it. Stays just behind. Still a lot of time. It's only lap 9. We haven't even got to the pit window. Of course, most of the field on the medium tyre. SAFRL will be going a little longer than the other cars around him. But if he's able to get into the lead on a set of hard tyres, things are looking really good. Looking back from the McLaren again, SAFRL close behind, 0.3 of a second. Spike's a little further down the road in P3, 3.3 seconds away from that battle, and he's got a battle behind him. He's got a Red Bull, Mr. Rem, Andre, Virus, Skull, all of those cars looking to get by an awfully long DRS train. Of course, Spikes will be the only car involved in that DRS train that doesn't actually have DRS. So he's going to have to really work out how he uses that battery. SAFRL goes back into the lead of the race. These two trading places. It's Fury out front, then Triple. Pantry Star has gotten past Spikes. I said it would be difficult to lead that DRS train over a long period of time. Pantry Star now takes over the lead of that DRS train. He's going to try and get away from it before Spikes can come back at him and rather reel in those top two. 3.7 seconds up the road from them now. The top two in a different league. Now we had a look at Natsumi's car. I didn't see any damage on the car, but he has come into the pits. That's why he's in P10. He's got a new set of hards, and he's got a penalty next to his name. So how quickly can your race change? It's free, fastest lap of the race, 17.1. And now Triple, falling adrift, 1.4 seconds adrift. I wonder if that is just the effects of the mediums, just not necessarily at the end of their life, but maybe just past their absolute peak. And now the race could be coming to the hard runners. We have 5 hard runners, 4 of them at the rear of the field. 1 of them in the lead of the race. We have a caution flashing on our screens. Quickly look through the track map. We don't see anybody stationary. Hopefully get back underway. And yes, we do. Wonder if the drivers panic as much as I do when I see a yellow flag. Now that's a good shot of the stadium section. Why don't we get that more often? Game does have a fantastic helicopter shot. Unfortunately, I have no control over it, and it appears when it wants to. And since it's probably the best shot in the game makes sure to use it the least. Triple in P2, just starting to lose ground. 1.9 seconds now, the gap. Mr. Rem, he is now the leader of that DRS train that is actually just starting to break up. Of course, it does happen over time. You can't have these DRS trains throughout the race. Eventually, people start to make mistakes, starts to break up the train as it goes. Still have spots of DRS here and there, but it's free. Has pulled a 2-second gap on Triple. Triple has a further 3-second gap on Mr. M. Then we have Spikes, still in a DRS battle for P3. Then Andre, 1.7 seconds adrift, defending from Pantry Star. Virus also in that battle, as is Skull. Then Natsumi, 12 seconds adrift in P9, in a race of his own now. He's obviously gone in, repaired whatever damage he needed to. Come out on a set of hard tyres. Maybe looking to go all the way to the end of the race. Stoffel P10. Then Awakes. Wonder, has he made a pit stop or a big error? Looks like he's made a pit stop. He's 30 seconds adrift from the rest of the field. At the front, it's Fury. Then Triple, Mr. Rem. This is Spikes. He's battling for a podium position. We've had a retirement. We've had 2 retirements. We just went from having 1 retirement to 2 retirements, and they're not next to each other on the track. Also, has it triggered a safety car? I don't think it has. Still have a flashing caution, but no evidence of a safety car on the track map for now. So And there we go. We've lost 2 cars. If anybody's able to let me know in the comment section. I know Skull is on the stream, so let me know what happened there. We had 2 DNFs in very close time. And if the cars were next to each other on track, I would have predicted an incident between the two, but those were simultaneous, but nowhere near each other on the circuit. 2.6 seconds at the front for its free triple in P2. Then Spikes has been able to get himself up onto the podium. 13 laps on those mediums. Now we will start to see the strategies coming into play. Who's going to play by that initial plan? Who's going to roll the dice at the last minute? Who's going to be the first one to come into the pits and try and activate an undercut? And as I say that, Spikes comes into the pits. I think he's the first of those medium runners into the pits. I expected to see a few more cars follow him in, but they haven't done that. They've gone past. So Spikes will be the first man to jump onto the medium tyre, a roll of the dice, looking to get through the field, have a bit of an undercut. Saw a car yesterday getting a very, very strong undercut. It was also the driver that decided to roll the dice first and pit first. Worked out well for him. The only downside to that is your tyres are going to be a little bit older than everybody else's at the end of the race, because you've had them that little bit longer. It's free, 3.3 seconds, so the gap is growing, but it's not growing that quickly, so Triple's still doing all he can to hold on, matching the pace to an extent. Of course, if he was within DRS and matching the pace, we'd have a battle every other corner. But when you're out of DRS, being a 10th down is just not enough. Another pit stop, this time Virus, the RB, coming into the pits. 2 of the medium runners have still decided to stay out. That's Triple in P2, 15 laps on those mediums. Andre in P3, 15 laps on the mediums. And I hope what I'm seeing is not the case. But I think the man in P3, I think that car is ghosting. If that is indeed the case, means Andre is not in control of that car. Means he is probably not in the lobby. So hopefully we can get him back in the lobby, back in the car. Have a look at that gap behind him. If we see the gap is falling dramatically, then we know he is not in the car. 7.2 seconds, the gap between Andre and Natsumi. That's pretty much confirmation. Already 6.6 seconds, so that gap coming down very, very quickly, almost a tenth and a half every time they go through a corner. So Natsumi smelling a podium from a race that looked like it had gone in a very wrong direction. Suddenly, looks like he's got an opportunity to step on the podium again. Let's have a look at Andre. Is that car still ghosting? Yes, it is. It's actually up into P2. I think that's as a result of the cars around him making a pit stop. Another problem the driver could have is if he doesn't come back soon enough. Sometimes these AI cars have interesting strategies. They take a set of tires way too far, or they'll go in and put on a set of tyres you didn't intend on using, might come back into the lobby and find your car on a fresh set of softs halfway through the race. Not an ideal situation. This is its free at the front of the race. Remember, he started on the hard compound, so everybody else around him has pit. His turn to pit has not yet come, but he is 17 seconds clear of the field, and that man in P2, is he back in the car? Yes, he is. Seems like he is back in the car, and he's coming into the pits. 16 laps on the mediums. It's probably a little bit longer than he wanted to be on the mediums. But at least the AI car did keep him in the race. We saw a race not so long ago where the AI took control of the car and then simply pulled off the track and retired. So the AI, very unpredictable. Don't want to trust it driving your car for too long. Not Shumi has somehow found his way up into P2. Now, of course, he made an early pit stop. I'm not sure what happened to him. We saw him lead the race for the first 7 laps, then suddenly lost the position, went down into P2, and then within a lap lost another, fell into P3, fell down the order, went into the pits, came out in P10. Now he's back up into P2, but very out of sync with the rest of the race. Of course, he's already done 9 laps on those hards. He'll be relying on some sort of a safety car towards the end of the race, or will those hards be able to do the entire distance? Of course, the gap between the leader and P2 is 20 seconds. That's about the same gap. That's about the same time you would lose in a pit stop, so he would come out very close to Natsumi. But I think in the worst case scenario, if he did come out behind Natsumi, he shouldn't have too much of an issue getting past. Natsumi's going to be on aging hards while he's on a fresh set of mediums, and for the first time in the race, he'll have the tyre advantage to the opponents around him. So far, the race going the way of the only driver that started on that hard compound. Now you can see the fresh tyres starting to take effect. Triple, he's just gone around and set the fastest sector 2 of the race so far. So don't be too surprised if he goes over the line and sets the fastest lap of the race. That's the effect of the new tyres. Doesn't get the fastest lap of the race. It's Fury out front. 20 seconds is the gap. Still maintaining the gap to Natsumi, who doesn't have a set of fresh tyres himself. Already 11 laps on those hards. Then the guys that do have the fresh hards, well, they're... Ooh. That's an interesting one. We have a safety car just after the mediums pit window, and probably right in the middle of its Ferrari's pit window. Question is, where is its Ferrari on circuit? He's actually in a perfect spot. He's going through the stadium section. He's going to definitely dive into the pits now. No question of it. Does come into the pits. Left it a little late on the turn in there. Was wondering what he was doing. And this has worked out perfectly. Natsumi, this has worked out perfectly for him as well. Remember, this race went away from him in a very, very bad way. Somehow got himself up into P2. Didn't have much hope of holding on to that position because the tyres would have gone off by the end of the race. But now he can come in, put on a new set of tyres, and hopefully retain that P2. Fortunately for him, guys that went in a few laps earlier for the mediums, they've been able to clear him. Matsumi's still in the pits. It's free. This is going to be your new order at the restart. It's free, Triple, Spikes, Mr. M, and Natsumi in that top 5. The only drivers with brand new tyres is the man in P1 and the man in P5. Natsumi and It's free, they'll have brand new mediums on the car. Then Triple, Spikes, and Mr. M, the drivers P2, 3, and 4. They're all on the hard tyre and they've done a handful of laps each. 5 laps, 6 laps, 7 laps. So Natsumi should have a slight tyre advantage at the restart. He'll be looking to get past those 3 hard runners ahead of him. Pantry Star, he's doing something completely different to everyone around him. He's on the soft compound. Still a lot of laps to go in this race. Wonder if he's going to be able to get to the end of the race on those softs. Then Virus, P7. Andre in P8. We saw Andre ghosting not so long ago, and he'll probably be a little bit frustrated because that time when he was ghosting, he had made a pit stop at the same time as the other medium runners. He'd be a little up the road from where he is now. Had the 3 retirements of Awakes, Skull, and Andres. Skull and Andres happened simultaneously, did not trigger a safety car, and the 2 cars were nowhere near each other on circuit. So I'm not sure what happened there. Then we had the retirement of Awakes. I believe that was the incident that triggered what you're seeing now. Of course, while we're under a safety car, it's a good time to remind everyone who's watching. Tomorrow night, it's a big night. It's been a popular night. Tuesday night on the channel. League versus League. It's going to be 3 rounds of League versus League. And tomorrow, our time has flown by. It's going to be the final round, round 3 at Jeddah. Of course, 5 leagues, 4 representatives from each, making up a field of 20. 5 leagues being this one right here, SAFRL. Of course, SKR, which is broadcast on a Sunday. DRS, broadcast on a Thursday. And also additionally JPR and LSA, all taking part tomorrow night for a final time in the League v League Championship. Safety car logo begins to flash, and that's our notification that the safety car is coming in. You can see the safety car is already in the pits, and now it's up to It's free to get us going yet again. He leads the way. Triple just behind him. This time roles will be reversed. Last time Triple would have had the tyre advantage. This time It's free's going to have the tyre advantage. But right now in the beginning, Triple is able to get past around the outside. Fantastic pass, aggressive pass, showing his intent early on at the restart. He's not going to be happy to sit behind in P2. He wants to get on with it. And just makes a statement to the RB driver: if you're going to win this, you're going to have to fight a little. The other driver on a brand new set of mediums that we mentioned was Natsumi in P5. Hasn't been able to make up any positions at the start. He still sits in P5. Pantry Star, he's made up a few positions. That was the driver on the soft compound, the solitary driver on the soft compound. Wonder how much longer those softs are going to feel any good. We haven't seen any data from the soft compound in the race. That's the first driver to use a set. DRS back online. Triple leads the way. Then it's free. Then Spikes in third place. Pantry Star on that set of softs, P4. He's going to be feeling all the benefits of those soft tyres right now. But for how much longer will those soft tyres be a benefit before they become a curse? Triple leads the way, but he hasn't been able to shake off that RB. Still within DRS, 0.6 of a second at the front. Then Spikes already starting to lose touch with those top two. They've been quick throughout the race. Pantry Star in P4. Nochumi was probably hoping to make up a few more positions at the start of the race, but he's still down in P5. Spikes picks up a 3-second penalty. That will come back to bite him. That's the man currently in P3. Final podium sitter as things stand. So same situation there for Skull. Of course, somebody left the lobby, and that eliminated Skull from the lobby as well. And that apparently also caused the ghosting of Andre. Luckily for Andre, he was able to get back into the car. Skull got a DNF next to his name. It is an unfortunate part of the game. We've seen it happen in this league and every other league we broadcast on this channel. When someone leaves the lobby, it always seems to disturb someone else. That's why we ask in every stream, or at least we try to remember to ask in every stream. Of course, not much you can do about it if your internet connection just drops off and you suddenly get disconnected. That's one thing. But if you do retire from the race, we ask you that you stay in the lobby till the end of the race, because you leaving the lobby could potentially disturb the result. Stoffel with a 3-second time penalty, so it looks like lots of penalties have come up on our screen, but it looks like those penalties must have gone to the same drivers, because just 3 drivers with penalties. It's 3 seconds for Spikes. Nachumi has picked up an additional 3 seconds, taking his tally up to 6, and then Stoffel. Well, Stoffel's on 9. It's Free out front, 0.9 of a second, on the verge of breaking DRS to his opponent. Needs to use the advantage of those mediums. Use it to the full extent. That's what he's doing now. 1.3 seconds, he's out of DRS. It's Free sets the fastest lap of the race, is 16.0. That is the result of the fresh mediums. Then it's Triple, then it's Spikes. Nochumi getting past Spikes, does he? Yes, he does. Before he gets to the corner, Spikes thinks of retaliating and going back. It just tucks in behind the Mercedes for now. It's Free from Triple, from Nochumi in P3. Remember, Nochumi started the race from pole position, had a fantastic qualifying session. Looked like he lost his pole position right at the end, then took it right back on his final run. Led the first 7 laps of the race. Then everything went haywire. But somehow, by the time we get to lap 27, he's in P3 on a new set of mediums. In with a chance. We are down to 9 runners. Started with 12. Had the 3 retirements. Mexico can always be that tricky circuit. Tricky to find the right setup. The car feels good in one place of the track, it's going to probably feel twitchy in another. You need to find the compromise. Sometimes in the race, you're throwing the car around on used tyres. You find yourself coming off at corners you never expected you would. Just the 3 retirements, and if I'm not mistaken, 2 of them are internet or game related. So that means just the 1 retirement, driver incident, rather than game or connection. It's unfortunate that we have these things. Of course, I like to equate it to real motorsport, that when your internet does do something silly, or when the game does do something silly, take it as a reliability issue. Of course, reliability isn't something people really think about in modern F1. If there is a problem on the car usually gets called into the pits before anything really breaks. We don't get to see the big plumes of white smoke following the car and commentators getting excited because of an engine that let go. We don't see that anymore. We see so many cars finishing the race, sometimes the entire field. Of course, that will probably come to an end in 2026. When we get the new engines, when we get the new cars, it's going to take a little bit of time for everybody to perfect the new equipment. The only worrying thing I have about those 2026 cars is that if the simulator tests, the current simulator tests, prove to be correct, on certain circuits we're looking at losing 10 seconds a lap. And that means if F2 cars don't get any slower, depending on the circuit, Formula 2 cars could be about 3 seconds slower than an F1 car. Of course, we've seen it in the past where F1 rules try to slow the sport down and engineers simply claw that time back, but it does take time. It's free out front, 1.5 seconds is the gap, then triple, then spikes. Matsumi is in the pits. He must have made a mistake, he must have lost the wing. Still in the pits, there we go, he's coming out of the pits now. I'm not sure what's happened there. He's come out of the pits. He's still got an 8-lap set of mediums. Did he have a penalty? Did he have a drive-through? Not sure what happened there with Natsumi, but he's come into the pits and he doesn't appear to have a new set of tyres on the car. Maybe he just went back to a set of mediums that he used at the start. I think that would be more likely. Don't know why he made a pit stop at this stage of the race. It's Ferrari, leads the way, then triple, then spikes. Spikes coming under pressure. Virus in P4. Remember, the RB is still battling it out, trying to take P2 in the Constructors' Championship. Just a reminder of that, Constructors. Alpine has won it, and they've won it a long time ago. But battle for P2 still between Mercedes, RB, and Aston Martin. And RB so far seem to be having the strongest night. Mercedes just with the 1 car in the race. Andres retired a long time ago and Natsumi down in P9, so that's just good enough for 2 points. 2 Aston Martins still both in the race. Andre P5, Mr. M P9, rather P8. So It looks like for the time being at least, RB may have secured P2 in the Constructors' title. Virus picking up yet another penalty. I say yet another. But in fact, that was his first penalty. Spikes was the one that got a penalty earlier on. No idea why I get confused between those two names, Spikes and Virus. They don't sound alike, they don't look alike. But when they're close together on the screen, I can't tell them apart. Andre in the top Aston Martin, they would have been hoping for a little bit better this evening to get that P2 in the Constructors. But RB have done everything they needed to do. Primarily it's Ferrari at the front. He's been the class of the field. And then Virus doing everything to back that performance up. Currently in P4. It's not good enough. He wants to get himself up onto the podium. Make it a double for the RB team. End season 8 on a high. Have a caution. Ooh, we've got a safety car. I say when we get to 3 laps from the end, we're usually safe from a safety car. Well, we're 5 laps from the end. It's lap 32. It's actually lap 33 of 36. We are 3 laps from the end. So that means we're probably going to have 2 laps behind the safety car. And then either a 1 or 2 lap shootout for the finish of the race. So if you're watching, scratch everything you've just seen. Things are about to change. It's Ferrari. He stayed out. So he's got those 12 lap old mediums. Triple. He stayed out. 16 lap old hards. Spike stayed out. 18 lap old hards. I think they might have just been past the pit entry when that safety car triggered. But then everybody else behind, Virus, Andre, Pantry Star, brand new set of soft tyres, was probably what's going to be 2 laps in a race. Then we've got Mr. Rem and Natsumi, they're on 10 lap old mediums, they have not pit. In fact, Natsumi does come into the pits. See what tyres he actually has left. Of course, this turns it back into a situation where anybody could win this race. We've only got 8 drivers in the field. This safety car will compress the field, bring everybody back together. We're going to have some drivers at the front with used tyres. We're going to have some drivers at the rear with new tyres. Whereas it's Ferrari, he's stayed out on track again. Triple has come into the pits. Spikes has come into the pits. They know everyone behind them is going to be forced to drive slower than they want to. So they're still going to get a free pit stop because the gap was big enough. So Triple will maintain P2. Spikes will maintain P3. And it's Ferrari, all of a sudden, looked like he had got that tyre strategy spot on. When he was on the hards in the initial part of the race, he was able to maintain the pace of the medium runners. Then in the second half of the race, it was supposed to be advantage it's Ferrari on the medium compound. But now, he finds himself leading the race. That's exactly where he'd like to be. But when he looks at his screen, he's going to know he's got 13 lap old mediums. And everybody behind him has a brand new set of softs. Safety car will be in this lap. So we're going to get lap 35 and 36. It will be a 2-lap race to the end. All the practice, all the qualifying, everything comes down to just 2 laps at the end. And it's Ferrari went from being in a very strong position to a very precarious one. This is the restart. We look back from the rear wing of the leader. Of course, no DRS just yet. Has somebody ghosted? It looked like somebody's ghosting. Who's ghosting? Thought we saw somebody ghosting, but that was obviously just a camera angle. Triple getting really close to the back of its Ferrari. That was somebody ghosting. That's just a car being lapped. It's Ferrari from Triple, then Spikes. Top three very close together. Virus has already dropped back from those podium sitters. Triple now can throw all the aggression he wants at those soft tires. We spoke about at the start of the race how your car is in prime condition in qualifying. Well, this is the closest you're going to have to a qualifying car in the race. Very, very low on fuel. Brand new set of tires. No need for tire management. You can throw this car around as much as you want. And that's what Triple will be hoping to do. He's going to get DRS this time around, does he? Not yet. Not till the next DRS zone. But he does attempt to go alongside its Ferrari. Just for now, stays back. I think that is not Shumi that they're all trying to lap. Of course, the car does ghost, so he's not really impeding them. But since he's probably just as quick as them, they're having a bit of a hard time getting by, and we've got an incident. There was an incident with its Ferrari. There was contact. And its Ferrari, well, he's gone backwards down the field. He did have the oldest tires, and that nudge just cemented things. So Triple gets into the lead when it counts. It's going to be the lead car into the stadium section for the final time in this race, lap 36 of 36. Not only does he have the lead, he's got a cushion to boot, 1.3 seconds, and the car behind him's got a handful of penalties. So Spikes will come over the line in P2, but I think he might lose that position. Yes, he does. Now just wait for Pantry Star over the line. Now Andre, Mr. Rem, not Shumi. This will be the final car as we wait for. Mr. Rem, those with a pair of Aston Martins, P6 and 7. Oh, what's quite funny here is not Shumi. He's that 45 seconds behind, so he has to do this entire lap. If he had allowed himself to be lapped, well, then he wouldn't have had to do this final lap. Of course, we wait to the end. We wait for those official results to come up. We also want to see who driver of the day is. Top 3 drivers, as well as driver of the day, are invited to the cool down room on the NFR Discord server, and then bring you into the comms box for a little chat after the race. Not Chumi, what a day it's been. Started in pole, led the race for 7 laps. At one stage looked like the race was coming right back for him, and then landed up finishing at the rear again, and somehow got driver of the day. Have muted the PlayStation. That's for the very greedy FOM copyright here on YouTube. So let's bring up your results. Triple takes the victory. Then it's Ferrari in P2. He had the fastest lap of the race, a 16.0. Don't think anybody got really close to that time. Closest we got was a 16.3, but not Shumi. Then Virus P3, Pantry Star P4, Spikes P5, followed by Andre, Mr. Rem, not Shumi, and then the 4 DNFs of Stoffel, Awakes, Skull, and Andres. course, the 3 drivers invited to the comms box or to the cool down room are Triple, It's Free, Virus, and of course, driver of the day. Not sure how he got driver of the day. He finished in P8. Started in P1, finished in P8, got driver of the day. I think it's a rigged system. Of course, those drivers are invited. We will take a minute or two to see if they join or if they're or if they're mic shy rather. No cameras required. We'll be back with you in just a minute. Well, will you look at that? We've got almost as much people in the cool down room as what we had in the lobby. So I'm just going to bring everybody into the cool down room. Before I do, just make sure if you guys are listening on any device, if you're listening on a phone, if you're listening on a TV in the background, just make sure you mute it. Otherwise, you're going to hear everybody twice. Then I'm going to start bringing these guys in one by one. Need to add another monitor to this setup.
Hello.
Okay, I think that's everybody.
Hey,
What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Do you have
Yeah,
enough seats?
that's a lot.
it's
Yeah,
a big podium.
Is
good
there
thing.
enough seats in the cons box here?
It's a good thing I didn't put a limit on the comments box entries here. I didn't expect 6 drivers in here. It's almost as many as we had in the lobby.
Drivers of the season.
But
Drivers of the season, there we go.
I might as well talk amongst each other. Have a proper cool down room. There's enough for you here. What did you guys think of the race, and overall, what did you think of the season? And if anybody knows, you might as well tell me, because I don't know what to say on the channel. Season 9, what's the news? Is there a gap? Is there a break?
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a gap. We had a great season. The attendance was a bit low, but I think we expect much more coming on the 9th of September. That's season start again.
And then, okay, we don't have Not Shumi here. I wanted to ask him about his race. He had a real up and down race. It's free. You got caught out at the end there. It looked like you pulled the perfect tire strategy, and then the safety car. Had you passed the pit entry when the safety car was triggered?
Yes, I stayed out and then no one else stayed out, so I thought it was a mistake, but there was no DRS, so I thought I could do it with the mediums because it wasn't too old, the mediums. But then, yeah, just that small tap and the car went around.
Then I think the main battle was obviously the driver's title was gone, the constructor's title was done, but I think the main battle was for P2 in the constructor's title. There was 3 cars involved. I think it was Mercedes, RB, and Aston Martin. RB obviously coming out on top in this race. So we don't have the updated points, but I think we can confirm RB P2 in the constructors.
Actually, I don't know. I didn't even look at that.
I would hope so, because last week was a good points finish for us, and then this week as well, both on the podium again.
Well, the points going into this race were Mercedes 173, RB 161, and then Aston Martin 159. and only one Mercedes finished the race, and that was in P8. And the Aston Martins both finished behind the RBs. So I think that's confirmation of RB in P2.
Well,
And
congrats.
helmet marker would be shocked. That's like, oh no, there would be it'd be all sorts of drama at Red Bull. I'll tell you that.
We'll get a promotion to Red Bull for next season. I can feel it.
I think they'll just swap the liveries around and tell all. If RB build a better car than Red Bull, they'll probably just say hand it over. So, but of course tomorrow, how many of you guys are racing, and who are you racing for?
So it's myself, Spikes, and Puri. We
No.
racing for.
No, I can't
Oh,
be
for
racing
you.
tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, for you, not racing. So me and myself and Spikes racing for SKR.
For
Oh, not
SKR.
SKR. Apologies.
Yeah, what?
SAFRL.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Hey, hey.
Sorry, guys. I'm busy here with the racing tools.
Jumping the fence here.
I like green.
Jumping here in between teams, in between the rounds. Of course, tomorrow Jeddah, the League v League. Those races have been doing very well on the channel, and get our third and final round tomorrow night. Then we come back to Mexico Wednesday night. The Tier 2 drivers get their final go at this. How many of the drivers here in the lobby were actually Tier 2 drivers? Did any of them make the crossover?
Actually, most of them were tier 2s.
Okay, so a lot of them should have practice for Wednesday night, second opportunity. But I think that's pretty much the latest safety car we can have.
Yeah.
That's 2 laps to go. So guys,
Yeah, and the safety car came in with a lot of guys still just entering Sector 3. So that was quite weird as well.
I think the safety car it's like it's one of those that if it just comes out in an unfortunate time, some of the guys get a huge bonus and the other guys get a massive disadvantage. Like if you just pass that line when it's called, and the guy just behind you has the option to quickly peel into the pits, well, he's going to come out in P2 just behind you with sounds like Abu Dhabi.
I think
Yep.
they should make the.
I
safety
was halfway through that and I
live.
was like, this sounds like Abu Dhabi.
And there was a lapped car between me and P2, so that is definitely like Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, and the problem is like usually a lapped car, you just you get on with it, you pass him, but it was like a lapped car of a fast driver who just wasn't having a good race, so he was sort of matching you guys. So he stayed there for a while, and even though it's ghosting, it doesn't like impede you. It is a bit of a distraction.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, another problem is if your pit crew puts you on used softs and you have to pit again. Because I know I'm going to fall out of the bus on the 4-lap old softs. So I had to pit twice for softs, and that ruined my race completely.
Another thing I've seen on this particular game is like the AI. Usually the AI would take control of the car if you left the lobby, and it would obviously be slow depending on what the league has set the AI to, but the car wouldn't really do anything different. But lately, like, you shouldn't trust the AI with your car because I've seen it do some really weird things. I mean, I've seen in the rain an AI come in and put dry tires on. I've seen an AI pull off to the side of the track and just retire for no reason. So yeah, you don't want that. You don't want the game in control of your car for too long. Andre had that problem for a while. I think.
Yeah, I had to leave and restart the game because when Andres left, I got the glitch with the black screen. So I had to go pause mode in some corners, and then I just had to restart the game and join the lobby again.
And then Skull got DNF'd altogether.
Yeah, he retired when he got the black screen. Looks like the Xbox is struggling with the new game. So yeah, if you all of you can pitch in. I can buy myself a Scholar PC.
I'd love to buy myself a PC, but a decent graphics card is going to be more than my PS5.
I'll sell my Xbox to you
What am I going to do with an
for a good
Xbox?
price.
He'll stream some black screen.
I don't want an Xbox. You telling me about the black screen and the what? No, I'll stick with PS5, and I don't know, maybe I've got the PC. It's not too bad, but it's not. PCs evolve quickly. It was not bad 3 or 4 years ago. Now it's a bit meh. So,
Yeah, it's true.
but to everybody who's stayed with us all this time, we've got more viewers than we had in the race. The guys like the interviews. So to everyone who watched, thank you very much. We're going to end the stream now, and we'll be back tomorrow. Yes?
Just before you end the stream, from all of us at SAFRL, we just want to thank you for your efforts, and we know we do it for free, and we appreciate every stream, every video, anything you post on your page. We appreciate it.
100%. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Yes, thank you.
We'll obviously be back tomorrow night, League v League. It's going to feature this league as well as 4 others. And then we're back here, Tier 2, and then DRS Thursday, and SKR. It's SKR. No, SKR is 12 rounds, so SKR is not having its finale just yet. To everyone who watched, thank you very much. Remember to leave a like if you haven't, and remember to subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. So thank you, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow, and cheers for now.
Cheers.
Good.
Okay,
Adios.
that is